Babies get sick more often than older children or adults because their immune systems are not fully developed and functioning at full capacity. The common cold, which is an infection of the respiratory system caused by a virus, is the most common malady. Doctors say that normal healthy babies get up to about 7 colds before they reach their first birthday. Another common affliction is the flu, caused by a different family of viruses, which bring on high fever, chills, fatigue, and sometimes digestive symptoms like vomiting and diarrhea, in addition to the respiratory symptoms of a cold. Another reason babies get sick so often is that they are frequently around other children, often siblings, and this exposes them to virus and bacteria in school and daycare. Children in school and daycare get more colds, runny noses, and ear infections than children cared for at home. However, their earlier exposure to this disease also leads them to develop immunity earlier. Babies are also curious about the wide, wonderful world they're born into, so they will stick anything and everything into their mouth as a means of exploring that world. You can imagine the enormous amount of germs that ride along. Furthermore, babies have not developed the immunity to the many different viruses that cause colds, because they haven't had time to acquire the antibodies to fight off viruses. Babies do have some of their mother's antibodies when they are born, which are transmitted through the placenta during pregnancy. This kind of immunity isn't permanent, but breastfeeding can extend it, because many of the mother's antibodies are present in her milk. This is why breastfed babies tend to have fewer colds and flu symptoms than bottle-fed babies. Babies, like other people, also develop their own antibodies in response to germs they are exposed to. In fact, it's a mistake to try to eliminate all pathogens from babies' environment. Winter is the toughest time for babies because it is the season when colds spread nationwide. Also in winter, people spend more time indoors, while viruses are more likely to spread from one person to another. The less humid air of indoor heating dries nasal passages, which allows virus to thrive. All people, both adults and children, are susceptible to bacterial and viral infections. Bacterial infections include cholera, tuberculosis, diphtheria, and anthrax. Vaccines for these dreaded ailments were developed decades ago. But when the very young and very old get sick, it is most often from viruses. A prime example is the common cold. There is no cure for the common cold because many different viruses cause colds, and even if a medicine is developed for one of them, people would still catch colds from other viruses. Many people who have colds or whose children have colds ask their doctors for antibiotics because they don't understand that these drugs don't work against viruses. But there are medicines that can relieve the symptoms of cold and flu, so babies can get better sooner and not suffer as much. Recent research has developed medicines against some viruses. For example, the vaccine that helps prevent the flu can also treat it if given soon enough after a person develops symptoms. Elderly people get sick more often because their immune systems are weakened or breaking down. They also tend to have existing conditions that make them more vulnerable. Some have heart disease, kidney problems, asthma, diabetes, and a whole host of illnesses that no one looks forward to. Many of this disease as well as their treatments suppress the immune system.